Hello. Yeah, we're back again. Are you getting bored with these yet? I hope not, because I quite enjoy doing them. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about creating awareness. Yeah, we all know about the first stage of that wonderful ADCAR, don't we? You know, that creating awareness. Yeah, the starting point for any communication effort is always awareness. This is the first rung of the communication ladder, if you like, and the action of making the impacted stakeholders aware should start at the very, very beginning of any change initiative. This will go some way to stop that awful grapevine from spreading disinformation and hearsay. But what exactly is awareness? Well, basically, it's gaining knowledge and understanding that something is happening or exists from a business perspective. It is a person's view of the current state, how they perceive problems, their view of the credibility and trust in their leader, the misinformation and rumours that circulate through the grapevine, which I mentioned earlier, and a disagreement of the need to change. It is also the need to create an understanding of the change. Why is the change necessary? Why is it happening now? What is wrong with what we're doing today? We've always done it that way, that old good old phrase. What will happen if we don't change? And what's in it for the individuals? In my book, there are three different levels of awareness. There are messages about the rationale for change, messages about the change itself, and then messages about the impact of the change. Okay, so let me go. First up, messages about the rationale for change. Do we have internal business issues and drivers that created this need for change? Are there competitive issues or changes in the marketplace that are causing this problem? Are we losing customers? Are they spending less with us? Yeah. Do we have cash flow problems like I have sometimes, such as revenues down and overheads up? And of course, what might happen if the change is not made? Secondly, messages about the change itself, a vision of the organisation after the change has taken place, alignment of the change initiative with your business strategy, the scope of the change process, organisation and or technology, probably all three to be honest. How big is the change? What does success look like? So who is the most impacted by the change and who is least impacted? What's the overall time frame? How long is it going to take to implement the change? And the basics of what is changing, how and when, and of course, not forgetting what is not changing. And thirdly, there are messages about the impact of the change. The impact of the change on day-to-day activities of stakeholders, the what's in it for me, yeah, from an employee's perspective, the implications of change on job security. Will I have a job afterwards, as an example? Specific behaviours expected from employees, including support for the change and the expectations that change will happen and it is not a choice. And finally, about who should send out these communications. I mentioned ADCAR earlier on, so I mentioned ProSci again. Yeah. From ProSci's Best Practices in Change Management 11th edition, it says 75% of stakeholders prefer business leaders, that is a CEO or an executive manager, to be the preferred sender of overall organizational messages. On the other hand, they say 70% of stakeholders prefer supervisors, that is the supervisors of the employee, to be the preferred sender of personal impacted messages. Do you understand change awareness a bit better now? I hope so. That's it for today. So again. I don't know what's going to happen next week, but I'll see you then.